What's up, everyone? My name is Ryan with OGP, and I am the creator of Solar Panel Cleaning Contractors. We have this YouTube, and we also have our Facebook group where we share information. Cleaners can ask questions, newcomers can get a vibe on what they need to get started with, and anything else that comes along the industry. So go ahead and follow us on Facebook and give us a subscribe on the YouTube channel as well. All right. So for today, I'm going to be redoing our do-it-yourself brush. This will be an update to a previous video that I had created. Now that we have over 1,000 views on that video, I thought it would be a good time to introduce a new brush head that I use. It was actually a brush head I had used in the past, but you always try different ones for different builds, and this is the one that we end up always going back to. So in this video, I'll show you various things that you can use to make your own brush, and we'll go from there. All right. So we got the first part of our brush and the build is the brush. And this is the most important part, right? You want to make sure that you consider a few things when purchasing or picking out the right brush head. The first one would be the bristles. Now I like to make sure that it is on the smoother, softer side. Something to consider would be a window cleaning brush. If you think about a Tucker brand brush and the bristles that they use for window cleaning, like a nylon bristle, you obviously don't want to go anything too stiffer than that, too much stiffer. So this is a good blend. It's called the Craftsman Smooth Surface Push Broom. It's around $30 at Lowe's, and I'll include the link in the description as well. But this seems to be a good blend. And another thing to consider is you don't want to have too stiff of a brush that could damage the arc coating of a solar panel. Depending on the type of solar panel, the arc coating could be on the inside of the panel or underneath or on the exterior. So that's something you definitely want to keep an eye out when picking out your brush head. There's a lot of brushes out there that you might think are $15, $20, and it just is not going to do the job. It's going to be way too stiff and all of that. You definitely want to consider how the brush is going to clean when it's going down 20-30 feet down the system. You don't want it to hop on you if it's too stiff. You want the dirt to obviously push off of the panels. You don't want the bristles to keep it to where it's still leaving a trail of dirt on the system. Another thing to keep an eye out is for what it's going to do in terms of the debris. Will it remove the bee poop, which is tough? Will it remove bird poop and get the dirt and grime off of panels when cleaning them? All right. Now the attachments I show you in this video, you can always upgrade at any time. A lot of them you can just, to be honest, you can start with a brush build of probably $75 and then work your way up with different attachments that you feel may be necessary. All right, and I'll go over all of those attachments, what we need from this point forward. Okay, so before we move on to the gooseneck assembly, I do want to point out that this is a 24-inch width brush build or brush. We're gonna trim this down 2 to 3 inches so that it's probably 20 inches, 20 inches in width, because this is nice to have that length or that width when cleaning panels. You can do almost a half of a panel at a time, but you want to make sure that you have the pressure and the force when being so far down a system. Once again, 20-30 feet down there, if you have such a wide broom, then you're gonna have some issues maybe with it hopping or not getting corners well enough that you thought you did do, and anything else like that. So when we trim it, we'll end up using some Plasta Dip that we can put on the corners to just keep the wood, just protect it and also keep it from damaging the system. this is a real smooth wood, and there's nothing really wrong or anything potential that it can damage, but let's just be on the safe side. And then it'll also look nice and professional and clean. So let's move on to the gooseneck assemblies. Now there's a couple things you can do with the gooseneck assemblies. I have 2 different models or 2 different types, and even the mounting system is a little different on these, but the main component is what they can do, or the main factor. Now with this one, you have a standard gooseneck assembly. It's just the easy one, or a real simple design. This is, you're gonna see this on almost all the brush builds out there. And then for your mounting system, depending on what company or where you buy from, that'll differ. So this is an Unger one. It came from an old Unger brush, so we can use that style. Or you have Tucker that has this flat. So I like to use the Tucker one the most. However, this is a swivel, and I wanted to share this with you guys. So this one swivels, and I got this one pretty tight because I don't like the swivel, to be honest. So this one swivels, and some people, I'd imagine, I just haven't tried it out enough, and maybe it has some real good benefits to it, but I don't like that it moves on you when you're trying to clean. I can see that when you get to a right or left of a panel, maybe it'll help you as you go. But in my opinion, I just think using the brush and moving towards those positions that you need is just better off. I think that the play in this is just not what I prefer. So, but this is a whole Tucker system. Now, what I like to do, I'll probably mention quite a few times in these videos or segments, is recycling parts. When you get a brush from, or when you get a pole or a system from most of these companies, or you just buy a brush and it no longer is operable, then you can recycle these parts and just take them off and use them for other ones that you have if they break or components, tear down. Or you could use this for your DIY brush. So this brush head from the push broom has this rubber style. I'm sure you can use it some way or another, but we're just gonna tackle it with one of these gooseneck adapters that we have. And if I haven't said it already, I will include links for these just so you can buy them separately as well. Let's move on to the water components and jets, or whatever you're gonna use to actually flow your pure water to your water-fed brush. All right, so I have a few different things that I'll show you, and this is one of the many times that you'll be able to customize this brush in such a unique way where it's never gonna be the same. One build is not gonna be the same to someone else's build, all right? There's so many variations you can do. You can use Moflows and only use Moflows, which have a nice fan jet. I haven't used these in a while, but yeah, it provides a nice fan style spray, and you can put those on the end of your brush head. You have your standard pencil jets. Now I like the combination I prefer right now, and I'm gonna use for this build, is the rinse bar from Tucker and 2 or 3 pencil jets. Now the rinse bar is one of the most popular items when it comes to solar panel or window cleaning, even with the water-fed poles. It floods either the panels or even the windows. It floods the water nicely so that you can get a nice, clear, pure, spot-free shine. And it also just gets the debris off real nice, if you have anything that's remaining. However, I think that you should have some pencil jets that help you agitate the tough, stubborn stains like bee poop or even bird poop or whatever that sprays directly onto those stains to help break all that up. Okay, the rinse bar is more of a rinse style flow, helps get all the dust and everything off and the water nice and sheeted off. Pencil jets help agitate the stubborn stains that you have. That's my opinion, at least. So these are a fan, another similar style to the Moflo. And some people, you can go 4 pencil jets. That's a common one. 4 pencil jets, 2, You can do a rinse bar and 4 jets. You can add a T and change it off depending on your pressure and your pump situation. You know, you can have a combination of 2 pencil jets and 2 fan jets. You can do some MoFlows and a rinse bar. That is where one of the possibilities are endless for you to build this brush the way you want it. So again, what I'm gonna do is use 2 of these pencil jets and a nice rinse bar. Okay, and also you can determine where you want to have the rinse bar on your brush. We're gonna put it on the back side, so when most of the time we clean panels from the top side down, you're gonna have that water behind it. You're gonna have the pencil jets hitting the contact of those stains. You're gonna have the rinse bar behind it, rinsing off all that water down. That is gonna be the combination we'll use. After I go through everything that we have right here, we'll start the build process. Okay. Now, while I have you guys in the water section, let's get over to your fittings. Now, I like to have a little container like this. I actually should get more of these containers for everything that, you know, I want to keep nice and neat. This is all my connectors, T's, Y's. I also have my jets in here. This is where I keep everything. And, you know, most common is going to be the 5/16 fittings or 3/8. So I have a lot of both. And these you can also get on various websites like Tucker or windowcleaner.com, WCR, and various styles. You know, the most common thing you're going to end up using is a couple of these T's to tie in your pencil jets and even the rinse bar, and then maybe a connector or 2, depending on how we tap into our line. 3/8 is getting to where if you want to try to maximize your output. I'm starting to get into more of this. I've been encouraged by other cleaners to use a bigger hose that you can all the way up until the brush, and then spit out to 5/16 or whatever your ending output is. You're gonna get more pressure out of it. You're gonna get the volume that just kind of wants to, it's pressing out at a higher output. That's gonna give you some better jets and rinse capabilities. So that's where I'm starting to learn. You can do like a 3/8 hose from your garden hose, 5/8 or whatever it might be, out of your filter system and tap right into your 5/16 just before the brush. Get that maximum output. Time to build our brush. Now, I could have got started with the cutting of our brush head and bringing this down to 2 to 3 inches. We'll do that after. What I went ahead and did was pulled the old gooseneck for the push room, took that off, and going back to recycling, I used the same hardware that were on the brush head. Check out that make sure that those bolts don't go through your brush head though, an inch or whatever. This particular adapter is pretty thick. The one I'm using now is real thin. So there was an extra length of bolt. So either use your own or use these, but I trimmed them down. So now I don't have anything coming out of that. You don't want to have, for the sake of whatever happening, these bristles come down and you scratch the panel with a screw. No bueno. All right. So to do that, to do this gooseneck assembly, and just so you can, obviously you can see, for giggles, I'm gonna try the gooseneck that has the swivel on it. I'll test this build out. We'll get a little video of it, and I'll decide on whether or not I like the swivel adapter. All right, I like trying things out. So with this gooseneck, we did, and I even used the same holes for this brush head. All right, so we used the same bolts from the old adapter, and we used the same holes. And all I did is I did have to expand the holes on the gooseneck adapter. I did have to expand them out with a unibit. That way I can fit my bolts, because the width of where the hole placement was a little different. So we got this set up. Our gooseneck is on there. Let's get the saw and our measurements ready so that we can trim this down to 18, 19 inches. We have our measurements in place. I went ahead and just to try to save some of the bristles, I went down and we're gonna try to cut in the middle in between, and whatever bristles come off, they come out, you know, we'll pull out the remaining ones. I went ahead, so this is 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches. Let's get a slice. Not too shabby. We'll pull those 3 sets of bristles out. We can always round the edges with a sander or a file, or you can just keep it flat. Looks like we cleared less. So we have it trimmed up. Nice, I like it. That put us at 19 inches, 24-inch push broom, now at 19 inches. So that's a good width to have when cleaning these panels. It's gonna give you some nice downward force. You're not gonna lose too much of that when you're going 20, 30 feet down the way. Let's get it cleaned up. I'll probably round these edges off like I talked about. We'll get this can of Plastidip so that we can just hit these corners, get a little bit of a rubber coating on there. On to the next. Ladies and gentlemen, we're looking good. It's coming out nice. I went ahead and rounded off the edges like I had talked about. And then we threw on the first coat of the Plastidip. All right. I'll probably throw on 2 or 3 more coats. We've got it masked off with that Pro Frog tape. You know, we're painters too now, bro. We do it all. And I understand that not everyone is gonna have the tools, the capabilities, the means to be able to build it like this. You might not have a sander that you can get the corners down. But this is where you can do whatever you want to this brush. You can make it fancy. You can spend a half an hour and build this thing, have it ready to roll. You can spend a couple hours and do the whole 9. Which comes to the last attachment that we'll end up using. Just like the rinse bar, or even Moflos, all that, you can add later. You can start with your standard 2 pencil jets right here, and then add a rinse bar down the line. You know, some of those rinse bars, if you do an aluminum rinse bar, I think it might be $75. So whatever you end up, you know, adding towards the end, you can just, I mean, that's the glory of it, is you can add it as you go. So this one is pretty cool. This is gonna help you get those really tough bee poop stains. I always get, you know, confused or crossed up, but it actually is bee poop and pollen. Pollen is coming out of the poop that they let out. So this is what's gonna help you really get that off, and just gives you that extra scrubbing power. Now what we can do is, what we'll end up doing once this is all complete, there's different attachments like this. They have a smaller unit on windowcleaner.com, which was sold out at the time. This one's a little bigger unit. This one you'll put in between your gooseneck adapter. And that way you can just easily flip the brush over and hit those real stubborn stains real quick. And then come back to your standard bristles and your rinse. So let's get this dried up, ready to roll. We can add our pencil jets and the rinse bar. Our jets and rinse bar are now on the brush. I did have to remove the gooseneck assembly to get the rinse bar on. There is some slots that are pre-made for this rinse bar that can easily just go wherever your hole placement is. So I did have to bore up a size or 2 to get the same holes lined up for the brush all the way to the gooseneck assembly. We got our pencil jets center of the brushes from the end to the center of the pole or the brush, and to center, and we moved it up about it, or we moved it an inch away from the front. That way those will be the first ones to contact the system. Then we're rinsing with the rinse bar. To get your pencil jets in, you can either, there's a number of things you can do. A lot of them, if you get the metal jets, you can press those in really well. I like to recycle, as I'm going to say, I think the 3rd time. So these are jets I've always just used in the past. So you can pull them off of old brushes as you go. These I pressed in. I just tapered as I went with these unit bits. Once again, just got it down to where this will fit in there nicely, nice and snug. We'll end up using some adhesive or bond to just secure it, but most of the time we have no issues if you press those in nicely. On the back side of it, it's hard to tell, but we did miss a whole section of the bristles on one hole, and the other hole we ended up hitting some bristles. So just make sure you clean out all those bristles out of the hole so that the jet will properly flow all the way through. Let's get our hoses and tees connected, and this is one step closer to the finish line. For the last part of the build, I went ahead, well, we'll add the attachment to it. That could be the last part. But the last main part of the build is the hose and tees. I just used the standard Tucker hose that we use out in the field. Got that pressed onto our pencil jets. Got that plugged in. One of the things that I like to do is I'll add a valve. I didn't have any in stock, but I'll add a valve. Could be either to, you can add a couple different valves, or one valve to shut the whole system off, or one if you just want to end up, maybe you don't have enough pressure out on the field and you want to just use the rinse bar, or you want to use only the pencil jets. You just hit one of those valves. That way you can tie, or cut one off from the feed as you need. Or you can just have an entire, or one right before that you can cut off the entire feed. That way you don't have water splashing everywhere as you go up or down. Okay, so we're near the end, as I said. I'll get the attachment on there for the scrubber. We'll get that locked and loaded. We'll give her a test with some water through my Tucker 4-stage RO. Well, it's a 3-stage, just a added sediment filter. It's making it a 4-stage filter. We will use that just to test the output of this and the flow. And there you have it. You have your SPCC Solar Panel Cleaning Contractors Do-It-Yourself Brush Build. Here is the flow test. Not bad at all. Again, this is coming out of the RODI system, no pump. You got the rinse bar behind. You got our pencil jets spraying out there. Try to get the pencil jets nice and far. Okay, so pretty good. And again, you can set the valves to where you just turn one on or the other off. Have them both on. This is what both will look like right here. All right, I got the pump on now. As you can see, the flow on those pencil jets go a lot farther. Everything's streaming and pissing a little more, you can hear it. So if you have a pump on, you're getting some nice jet output with the rinse bar. Even the rinse bar flowing out nice. So there you have it, guys. We're all set, pretty much. We're wrapped up. I might do a last segment with the final closing thoughts. Add that attachment to the end for your scrubber. OGP SPCC. That's a wrap, ladies and gents. So with the closing remarks, review, I was gonna do a field test. I still will do a field test. I just might drop that in another video. I'd like to get this video out there, immediately and get it out to the public. So we'll start editing and get that out there for you all. Real quick, if you head to our SPCC group on Facebook, we're always doing free giveaways. These are little baby stickers that you can put on your mop bucket for window cleaning, water bottles, Milwaukee packouts. So check that stuff out. Like I told you before, we do a lot of informational stuff that helps you guys along the process. I try to give you what happened along my journey. I try to provide stuff that I'm learning as I go, and there's plenty of other people out there who answer questions on the Facebook group who are always willing to help out. So check that out. We'll give you some free stickers if you'd like. We also do shirts as well. I do a free shirt every month for the photo of the month contest on our Facebook group. You'll get a free shirt, and you will also get your information up on the banner of our group. All right. So with this setup, I am very happy the way it turned out. You know, we got everything good to go. We have that last attachment on there. This is gonna allow you to get that scrubbing, that scrubbing power, like I had mentioned before. That's all ready. We got the swivel. So yeah, in fact, I'll probably do a full review on this. That way I can let you guys know what I think about the swivel gooseneck. And that way, you know, maybe it's worth a shot. Maybe I'll end up liking what it can do for me and provide. So the very last thing I would probably say is we're never going to try and replace a company like Tucker or Unger, anything like that, right? We're not here to make millions and sell brushes, but we are here to to set ourselves with a budget. And sometimes those brushes from companies don't meet our budget, what we're trying to fit within that budget. So, and plus, for me, I enjoy making this stuff. As you can see right here, Team Tucker all the way. I provide links for their stuff. I'm giving them, I use their poles that are on my van right now. 90% of the brushes, aside from these builds, whether it's window cleaning or solar cleaning, are Tucker brushes. So this is never an opportunity or something to replace those companies, right? This is an opportunity for the average, or not the average cleaner, just the do-it-yourself, all hands in cleaner, you know, like myself, where I enjoy building these projects. I enjoy figuring out what I can use and what's to the best of my capabilities and what I can, you know, make for my own system and my own liking. I'm not saying that this is for everyone. Not everyone, again, has what they can do to make this happen, but it's fun. It's enjoyable. You can do so many different things. As I've said in the past, I've built plenty of them. This is my old Craftsman. This thing is still going strong. Look at how slayed out that is, though. I mean, and it's so soft. You know, eventually these things get, with these particular bristles, it really just kind of gets softer over time. But this brush I've had for at least a year plus, and I'm doing 5 solar jobs on average a day. You know, we don't always use this. I mean, we have our robot and our rotary stuff, and I mean, but for residential, obviously we're doing a lot of jobs with these brushes all the time. This is still a good setup. You know, this is with the 4 pencil jet. Like, as I told you before, you can do so many different options. This was 4 pencil jets. I had the rinse bar. That was probably way overkill. I don't think I even had the opportunity to use both at the same time. Just another prime example of what you can do, how long these can last. I did trim this one down after the fact. I had this for a while and then trimmed it down, and I did like what it did for me. So that's why I included it into the new build. So there's little things here and there that I did. As you can see, I don't know why. I guess if I was only using the rinse bar and no jets, I would prefer this to be in the front. I'm not even sure why I put that in the front to begin with, okay? I say, let's set it in the back as a rinse bar flowing down. I think most cleaners do that, right? So you're always learning stuff, you're always adapting, you're always innovating. Tucker does have a new solar brush coming out. It looks very, the design looks nice. You know, I have yet to try it out. I can't tell you what it does, how it performs. I was told, or what I hear is that there was some solar cleaners that were involved that made that brush. So it'll be really exciting to see, or it is exciting to see what comes out of that brush and how it works out for everyone. In the meantime, I think it is a $400 brush, full price, retail. So I'm gonna get a parts list and a price list for this. But you're looking at, like I said, $75 to probably start. You got a $30 brush head, $30 gooseneck, the rinse bar, you know, $40. So you're at $120 right there. You add the scrubber attachment, $100, so it is pricey. $220 for your own custom brush. Okay, so Team Tucker all day. But when it's said and done, do what you want, do what you prefer, do what makes your company fast, efficient, and gets you streamlining. You know, I have found with this brush head, it's very nice on the panels. It has no problem with the dirt and the grime. Yes, you're gonna have a little issue with the bee poop. That's why we got the scrubber. and you're set to go. All right, so I'm hoping that this video was a little better than ones I've done in the past. I got my pods in. We'll start doing different backgrounds, trying to get different things involved. I'll try better with my editing, my speaking, my communication. I'm hoping that's all improving. If you've seen my videos in the past, I might do a lot of revisions of videos before, and we're also gonna obviously do videos in the future. I'm hoping that we can set some stuff up with some companies and products so where I can review their things and go from there. Really let you guys know what works for you guys, how it works, what I feel works, and that's about it. All right, I appreciate, again, we did hit 1K views on our last brush build video. I am so honored, so grateful, so excited that I even had that opportunity to see that. I think we're even at 1.1K views now. Let's see what we can do with this build. Share this build, like it, comment, tell me what you think about it, tell me what I should do next time, tell me what I need to improve. Let's get this thing streamlined for everyone, for solar panel cleaners across the globe, and continue on the road, right? I'm very fortunate and blessed. I hope everyone has a great day. SPCC out, OGP out, Team Tucker. Have a great one.